Welcome to Business Casual. I am Mihae An, your host and author of The Stories We Tell and Perfectly Incomplete. Business Casual brings you unfiltered conversations with badass, inspiring, highly accomplished women. I am passionate about and believe in the power of sharing stories, our authentic, raw, incomplete stories, getting beyond the polished LinkedIn profiles to the real humans behind the titles. My guest today is Dr. Julia Wiener. Julia is an organizational psychologist who masterfully balances multiple roles as a mother, wife, nonprofit board member, and consulting firm owner. She brings deep wisdom about human connection and authentic leadership to everything she does. Appreciate how Julia combines professional expertise with genuine vulnerability, sharing both her struggles and wins with remarkable openness. Some key takeaways from our discussion include connection and community are essential for navigating life's challenges and finding fulfillment. Balancing multiple roles requires intentionality rather than perfection. Joy can be found in everyday moments when we are present and aware. Imposter syndrome affects even the most accomplished leaders, but self-awareness helps us move through it. Combining friendships with professional relationships can enhance both personal and career growth. Please enjoy this thoughtful, inspiring conversation with Julia about connection, growth, and finding joy in the complexity of life. How are you? So good to see you.
So good to see you too, Mihei. It is an honor and a pleasure to see you all the time.
Oh, thank you very much. We met in person just
Mhm.
a month or so ago for
Yeah,
the first time. Yes,
yeah.
and we
But
met
we had met
virtually.
virtually before that, right?
Yes,
A
you
couple of
look
times.
back. Yes, yeah. The very first time that I met you virtually, Julia, the positive energy and vibe that just coming out of your whole self was very notable. And I was very excited to meet you in person. It was such a pleasure to meet you and serve the panel together. And here we are,
Yes,
extending our relationship, right? And
that's
we're gonna
right.
continue to more nurture it and mature it, I'm sure.
That's right. From our first meeting virtually, there was a icebreaker moment, and we had to tell a story about sandwiches and
Yes.
if we thought a hot what was it if we thought a hot dog was a sandwich, or
Oh
either
yeah,
if it was our what was our favorite sandwich.
yeah.
And I just remember your story was it was vulnerable because you talked about how when you were new here to the United States, but then also it was funny and insightful, and so many. I just loved how you told the story, and so that was what really attracted me to you. Your confidence in just the way that you went about telling the story. It was just fantastic. I loved it.
Thank you. Yeah, the story that I shared was that when I first moved as an immigrant, I went to a sandwich shop. The number of toppings, I got totally lost. Okay, what do we put in sandwich? Why are there so many toppings? I barely speak English and I don't understand what toppings what. So yeah, that story, yes.
I loved it. I loved it. And there are so many choices at sandwich shops for
Yeah.
sandwiches and toppings.
Yes, Julia, let's start with a little bit of intro, please. Who you are, where you are in your career and in
Mhm.
life, so our audience get to know you better.
Of course. I have so many hats that I get to wear in my life. Most important and most fun one is being a wife and a mom. I have two young kids, an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old. So I'm quite busy with mom and wife stuff. Outside of my home life, I serve on two nonprofit boards. One is called CASA of Collin County, where we come around children who have been taken from their homes and placed into foster care. The other nonprofit is Common Good Medical, which is a free medical clinic based here in Texas. And when I'm not doing those things, I'm teaching college courses. My PhD is in organizational psychology, so the courses that I teach are usually around that. Right now I'm teaching a organizational behavior class. In the fall, I'll be teaching a quantitative analysis class for PhD students. Love, love, love my students. It has just been a joy. This is my first year teaching, and it's just been a joy. And then in my business, in what I do, I would say for work, is I run a consulting firm called JW Strategies. There, we look at current culture, organizational culture, and we look at the future state that companies want to have, and we work in the gap. So what do we need to do to get you from the current culture to the new culture that you want to have? That could look like workshops, it could look like an offsite, it could look like executive coaching, or implementing a leadership development program, all an array of things. And we're boutique, so we work with companies between, I'd say 20 to about 200 employees. Yeah.
Many hats you wear, eh? Even in just your professional life, you do various things. Is there any practice that you implemented for yourself to be able to juggle different things and prioritize what at what point and so on?
Oh gosh. Yes, there has to be. I didn't always. I used to be very scattered and rushing from place to place, and always trying to do everything. More recently, I would say since having my 3-year-old, he slowed me down. He helped me realize that I have to have a system, and the things that I do all kind of have to work together. So, for example, the 2 nonprofit boards that I serve on them with my friends. So I get to yeah, 2 of my best friends.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah, so I spend time with my friends through my nonprofit board work, which is now, and then we'll have outside of board meetings. We have a board meeting today later, but then outside of the board meetings, we'll get together and still have fun. But I still get to spend time with friends while I'm serving. That's
So
one thing.
smart.
Yeah, and then I would say, like, so for example, I also coach my daughter's basketball team. I love basketball, so that's a way for me to spend time with her, but also give back to my community. It's like our local rec league that I coach with, and so I kind of try to mix things together. For example, teaching. I love teaching, but I also love research and writing. So because I'm able to get into the literature and go to the library and do all the things that I need to do for my class, I get to enjoy that for myself as I write a book right now. So I'm always trying to make sure that whatever I introduce in my life is complementary, and that I can combine it with something else, and that I'm not working in silos. So I look for a common thread, and if there is one, I can invite that into my life. If there isn't, and I see that that's something that I'm going to have to manage all on its own on an island, that's something I'm probably going to take a lot of time to consider.
Love that idea with friends. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I think about where I spend my time, mostly work, 8 hours plus every day work, and there's my side work that I do. I'm a writer, as you know, so writing and podcasts like this and so on. And there's family. So when I think about how much time do I really spend with my friends,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, not much.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really, especially, you and I are in a similar space in life with young children. And like you said, with work and outside projects, it's tough. It's really tough to have friendships at this era or stage in our lives. I've found that combining my friendships with other things has really worked really well, and we do things outside. Like I said, we do things outside of that as well, but it's usually very scheduled. It's like something we put it on the calendar for a month in advance. It's not like, hey, are you free, let's go out tonight. Those days are long gone. Maybe in the future they'll come back, but no, there's no spontaneity at all when it comes to friendships, and I am okay with that right now.
given how many things you are passionate about and are involved in, I'm sure this question is a bit hard to answer. My assumption is um, the the most proud moment so far in your career that you have to choose. What would
Oh,
that be, and why?
oh, man. Oh man. This is quite personal actually. So whenever I was in my PhD program, I'll call this my professional career, being in a PhD program as an adult. Whenever I was in my PhD program, I was working part time with my husband's startup, and I had a 19-month old at that time, and when I first started it, and so I'm doing the things. I'm pretty much a full time student, part time worker, full time mom. It was very difficult. At some point, we decided that we would have a second child. So when I got pregnant with my son, and this was about midway through the coursework. Well, toward the end of my coursework, I gave birth to him, and he passed away. He was 3 months old, and it was horrific. He was just a baby, and I just decided that I was going to quit. I was going to quit my PhD program. I didn't see the point really in anything in life at that point. Losing a child is nothing like that anybody can imagine, right? I just decided at that point that I was just going to focus on my daughter, who at that time was 3 years old now, my husband, and just grieving. And my professors and my friends and my community, my church community, they all came around me and they were like, "You're so close though. You're so close. Maybe finishing will be a good thing for your mental health. Maybe putting yourself back into your studies will be good for you." And I I was just like, I told my professors, I said, "Well, I can't see myself coming to a lecture right now. So if we can work out some way that I can maybe listen to the recorded lectures and provide feedback later, or do my work kind of without being in the group, then maybe." And they said, "Yes, we will work with you, we will help you. This is terrible. Like, what can we do? If that's what you need, that's what we'll give you." And they did. That's one of the reasons why I teach at that university, is because those professors were just golden. And so I did. I went back. I finished. I ended up having another baby boy. He's, like I said, he's 3 years old now. And when I walked across the stage to get my PhD, I thought, this is not just a PhD. This is a monumental moment where I fought and clawed myself across that stage. Like, it wasn't just walking across and getting that piece of paper. It was sleepless nights, grief, crying on my laptop while I'm trying to write. It was a lot of hard work. I would say, coming from the place where I was, which was in deep despair, to walking across the stage getting a PhD with I think he was 1 years old at the time, is, I don't even know how I did it. So it has to be my most incredible accomplishment.
Thank you so much for sharing that, eh? It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being a person that I would feel comfortable with, and your listeners being people that I would feel comfortable sharing that story.
That community, without the connection that we create, without the community that we create while we are alive,
That's right.
like, what is the point of
That's
being
right.
human?
Yes, connection. Connection is what got me through that, and still to this day. I mean, I'll never stop grieving, and the connection that I have with my friends and my cohort, the cohort that I walked across the stage with, still to this day, is so special, and it's invaluable.
What brings you joy? I mean, the work and the purpose that you have with your work. Outside of that, is there a
Yeah.
particular thing that you continuously go back to because it brings such pleasure and joy are different things. Right? There are many
Hmm.
things that we can do to have this pleasant moment or pleasant experience, but that deep joy that we feel, that is
Yeah.
a bit different. So yeah, what
Yeah.
brings you joy?
Oh, I've got a couple of things. I think in the more spiritual realm, and within my faith, I mean that definitely brings me joy. I couldn't be who I am without my faith. So that brings me joy, especially when I had such a difficult time with my faith during that time of losing my son. So I feel like it's been renewed in these last few years. I definitely find joy in that. I also find joy in, I know, and it sounds really cliche, but just those little things, seeing moms and dads, and kids at the park playing with each other, me playing with my own kids, and them laughing and smiling, seeing connection between two people that I don't even know, just at the movie theater or something, and they seem so happy. Just seeing connection and seeing people care for other people, it just brings me so much joy. It really does. I don't even know if there's words for the kind of joy that I feel when I see people connect.
We have this mirroring effect, right? When we see other people in such a joyful place, then we feel that as well. When
Yeah,
we see others suffer, we suffer too.
that's right.
So, yeah, I think I learned them more and more as I'm raising kid. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that was told when I was a lot younger that motherhood, like parenthood, teaches you something very different from anything else in life teaches you. Like, yeah, whatever, right? Not knowing what I didn't know, but
Yes.
yeah, my husband makes fun of me that now I cannot even watch any violent movies or TV
Oh,
shows. It,
no. I'm done too, Mihei. Like I
right?
can't do it. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm. It's the amount of pain that I feel seeing in movies,
Yes.
people in despair. I just can't, and that the the type of violence it cannot stand it anymore.
I'm so with you. My taste in movies and shows has changed so much. And my husband and I talk about that too, about how we think about movies or shows from, back when we didn't have children, and we're like, how could that not have affected us? Like how could we have like sat through that and then just ate the popcorn and had a great time? Now I'm like, no, turn it off. I'm done. I don't need to know what happened. I have no curiosity beyond this point whatsoever.
Yes, yeah, it is so interesting how much change that we go through as we experience life. It's
Yeah.
quite
Hey, I'm
interesting.
curious what brings you joy. I want to know what brings you joy.
There are many things that bring me joy. For sure, my my daughter, especially when I see my daughter and my husband together
Hmm.
having a good time, that brings me the type of joy that just does not compete with anything else. And another thing is this joy also grew as I was raising kids too. There was this joy even before child, but even more so now that other people that I mentor and manage, how they thrive, how they succeed in what they do, and that the pride they have as they are doing things that they enjoy doing, that pure joy in their face,
Yeah.
that brings me such joy. So it
Oh,
is,
you're
yeah,
so happy. I can tell.
it's just, aww.
I
It brings
love
me,
it.
yeah, a lot of joy. And I have to say, I'm a huge theater fan. Like
Mm.
musical is like the thing that I enjoy my free time, spending my free time
Mhm.
on. And
Love
I
that.
believe one of the reasons, of course, music is such art, but
Mhm.
one of the reasons why I enjoy so much is that it is so obvious that that musical is possible because all the different actors work together to make that
Mm.
piece of art. You
Oh, true.
cannot really create something like that alone.
That's right.
And right, all the singing and that because they work together and how much effort should have got into to make
Yes.
that
Yeah.
together. That
Oh my goodness.
togetherness brings me like all the goosebumps.
Oh my goodness. So Lin Manuel Miranda is one of my favorites when it comes to musicals. And there are times when I'm listening to some of his music, particularly in the movie Encanto. I get goosebumps, and there are tears that comes to my eyes when I hear, like you said, the ensemble and just the musicians. And oh my goodness, it is like art. I love that. Thanks for reminding me about how beautiful musicals are. I need to go see some soon.
Yes, and my daughter loves it too, which is really interesting to see and watch. She has done some like musical camp and drama camp this past summer, and she
Good.
absolutely enjoyed it. So, there you go, something that mommy
Hmm.
and daughter can probably enjoy going forward
All
as she
right.
grows. So, yeah, looking
I
forward to
love
it.
it.
Yeah. Given how successful you are in your career journey, Julia, I'm particularly curious about this. Were there moments where you felt like, out of depth, right? The imposter syndrome, like, am I really good enough to do this or be this?
Yeah.
Have you
Oh
experienced that at
goodness.
all?
Every daily. It's something that I fight against every day, and I don't. I, I see that some people, and it's probably not true. I was gonna say some people seem like they just are confident and they got it all together. It's probably not true. I know that, but it seems whenever I'm in that space of imposter syndrome or thinking that I don't have what it takes, it feels heavy. It feels like everybody else is doing great. One thing that I've learned is to go back to that list of things, the facts. What are the things that I've accomplished. I do have an education. I have led teams. I have been successful in business. I have to just do self-talk and tell myself, if you don't trust yourself in this moment, no one else is going to trust you. You've got to trust yourself right now. There's some like pep talk that has to happen, like, all right, girl, let's get it together. It's all right here. It's all right here. I'm not, no one else is thinking of your listeners, you all that are out there. No one else is thinking that you can't do it. It's you that thinks that you can't do it. People are just like, I don't know whether you can do it or not. Show me. I'm the only one who's saying, well, I can't do it. I don't know. I may not have the qualifications, or I may not have this or that. Other people are just neutral at best. I'm the one that's mostly negative. And so it's been a journey. Last 2 or 3 years, I have really started to put myself into that mindset of like, look at everything that you've done. You can do the next thing. That's how I've been managing it. But I will tell you, it is still there. It's still difficult. And yeah, it's real. It is a real emotion for sure.
I started to think about, I experienced it on a daily basis as well. And I started to think about, what, the fact that you feel this imposter syndrome, that means you're not imposter. Get the self-awareness because you are self-aware. You
Sure.
go through this instead of if you're really imposter, probably you don't even recognize that. So that's how I rephrased it. You know what? Because I'm feeling this, I'm okay. And
Yeah.
because I'm feeling this, I put more effort into what I do. And the reason why I feel this way is because I really care.
That's so true. I have heard that I love that, like, because I feel this, I will probably put even more effort into this, whatever the thing is, and it'll be a better product or a better service, a better talk, whatever it is. But yeah, it's so true. It is, I think it does drive us. We can use imposter syndrome to drive us. It doesn't have to be this negative thing that we feel and then just go run under a rock. You know, we can feel it and keep on going.
Back to that what brings joy question that we talked about. Oh, it does give me joy when I overcome that the imposter syndrome moment and do whatever that I was gonna do, and I'm happy with the outcome, like output of it, despite all that negative self-talk. Okay, I did it, and I'm happy with the output. That gives me joy too. Yeah.
And then, I think that's where you go back to that list. You add that moment, and
Yeah.
there's this one of my favorite songs that says I don't want to forget how I feel right now. That's one of the lyrics. And that's what, I don't want to forget that feeling that I feel right now of being like, I did it. I know I had those negative feelings that I didn't think I could do it. I did it. I can look back at just like 5 minutes ago to show myself that I did it. Write that down or voice record or something to go back to it and say like, oh, I want to feel that feeling again. I love it.
Was there and is there a mentor or somebody who has influenced you quite a bit throughout your career journey?
Oh yeah. Well, I'd say I have people that have influenced me directly, like mentors that I actually know, and then people that are like people that I don't know, like Michelle Obama. I think she's fantastic. Her essence and the way that she uses humor and self awareness, like we talked about, and she talks about imposter syndrome in her books, and she's just been a great role model and mentor, even though she doesn't know she's been my mentor. And then I also had a coach whenever, like as I said, I played basketball and love basketball. So I had a coach whenever I was 13 years old. I'm still in contact with her today, and her name is Coach Smith, LaCheryl Smith. She took me under her wing whenever I was just 13 years old. She saw a spark in me. I was in a single mom, living with my mom in a single family home, or single mom home. She just thought like, man, I think this kid has some potential in not only in basketball but just in life, but needs some guidance. And I always say I was at this like fork in the road when I met her, where I could have gone down a very troubled, dark path. And then I could have gone the way that I did, which was with education and faith and, all of the things. And I think there are mentors like both of those, where, Michelle Obama, who I've never met, maybe we'll never meet. And I've kind of seen her path, and I like how she operates. And then there's these mentors that literally take your hand, and you are calling them weekly or monthly or whatever it is, and leaning on them for advice and looking at how they live their lives. Those are some invaluable people, and she was that for me. Still is. She's still an invaluable person in my life. And all the way through college, she was always there for me to lean on, to ask questions. I just love her so much, still to this day.
I have a feeling that you are both of those to many people. Those people whom you don't know,
Mhm.
they see you, hear you
Oh,
through, you know, events, conferences,
thank
and your
you.
social media and so on. You have influence on them, and I'm
Oh,
sure you mentor many people. They're all lucky to have you as their
oh,
mentor.
oh, thank you, Mihei. That makes me feel emotional. Thank you.
We have, I believe we have more influence than we realize, like all of us, right?
Yeah.
how we use that influence, how we use our platform to amplify the influence that we have. It is quite important thing to think about, I believe. The self-awareness, back to self-awareness, I believe we need to have that type of awareness in this day and age. We're so connected with each other. Like,
Mhm.
don't just say things or do things thinking that nobody will care or nobody will notice, because somebody will notice.
Somebody's noticing and somebody's being uplifted.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
Do you have BHAGs, Julia? Like big, hairy, audacious goals? Do you have something that you want to like really strive for? Like long term?
Long term. I writing a book and that was another thing that attracted me to you is that you're an author, and I want to be an author one day and do research, and that is just Brene Brown. I should have mentioned her too. She's another role model of mine because she's an author, she's a researcher, she's also a professor. I'm not sure how much she teaches these days, but she also works within organizations like I do. And yeah, I say professionally, she is a person that I aspire to be like. So if I could be a little mini Brene Brown here right now, and then as big as Brene Brown one day, wow, that would be amazing. That would be a really amazing professional goal.
Ah, man, I love that. Yeah, she's such an amazing person, eh? Yeah,
Mhm. She is.
awesome.
Yeah, so writing books and getting more into research and um, speaking more. Those are my goals. And I mean, I'm really happy with what I have going on right now. So just more of what I have going on right now for sure.
Is there any question that I didn't get to ask you? Or put it differently, are there some questions that people don't really ask you?
Mm, mm. Yeah, I think that we hit on self awareness a little bit, and I think that we tell people that they need to be self aware. I think that there is some thought that should be put around how one becomes self aware, because if you're only with you and you're just kind of in this echo chamber of your mind, how do you become self aware? I think that there's some work that we all can do in that realm. And if someone were to ask me, like, how do you become self-aware, I think I would say this is where you do have to lean on people and be able to take some tough criticism constructively. Anyway, hopefully it's constructive. This is where you have to lean on people in your life and ask questions like, I know I just said a lot, how did that land with you?
Mm.
I know that I might have a few quirks. How does that affect you? Whatever the thing is, asking people in your life, how does that affect you? How does that make you feel? That's tough. It's tough for me to do for sure. But asking for feedback really does give us that self-awareness that we need to be successful in all areas of our lives. And we have to be careful. We're not going to hopefully not ask feedback from a person who we think wants to hurt us or doesn't want the best for us. We're asking feedback from people who are in our lives to make us better. I think that is one of the ways that we become self-aware. If we're not getting feedback around us and not paying attention to the feedback, then we're really not self-aware. We're just kind of in this bubble of our own minds. We've got to get out of that.
Thank you for sharing that. The I really like that question. How did that land with you? Because sometimes
Mhm.
I think how we ask for feedback really matters.
Yeah.
Because, right, and positive feedback is a lot easier to give. But when it is not positive, it is both ends, right? A giver and receiver, it can be tough. So
Hmm.
how we ask for it is quite crucial in that sense. And I always struggle, Julia, when I ask feedback to people that I manage.
Hmm.
It wouldn't be comfortable for them to give me the candid feedback. So I think both positive and negative. Some folks don't feel comfortable. Like, I don't want you to think that when I give positive feedback, I'm just doing it for the
Yes.
sake of doing it, right?
Yes.
So for both positive and negative feedback, I always try to think, okay, how can I ask this?
Yes. Something that I learned in my coaching, I have a certification in executive coaching. And one of those things I asked was, or what that I learned was, how does that land with you? Is
Mhm.
such a powerful question
Yeah.
because it takes out a lot of emotion. I said this thing, how did that make you feel? I really just want to know how it landed. It creates kind of a neutral ground for the person who's asking and the person who hopefully is going to be giving some good constructive feedback for sure.
Julia, thank you once again.
Oh,
I
thank you.
love our conversation every single time.
Me too. Me too. Oh, I love it. I love it.
If we have more time, I'm sure we'll continue our chat. Yeah, but yeah, it is that time to wrap up.
Yes, your listeners only have so much time, right?
Exactly. Yes, yes. Anything you'd like to add before we say goodbye?
No, just thank you. Thank you for being who you are and for creating this channel for your listeners and for hopefully new listeners out there. You are doing the work. You really are. You are just a ray of sunshine, and not just the warm and cuddly sunshine. You ask the hard questions. You dive deep. And that is the sunshine that I want to see in the world. Is not just the warm and fuzzies, but hey, like this is something that people are actually dealing with and struggling with. Let's talk about it and shining light onto issues. That is the sunshine that you are, Mihei. So absolutely.
Oh, thank you. A virtual hug.
Yes, virtual hug.
Yes. Thank you
Okay,
so much again. Definitely we'll keep in touch, right?
absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, bye everybody.
Thank you. Bye. That's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember you have more agency than you often realize. Choose your stories. I'll see you next time.